It is hard to build an email list. So once we get an email subscriber, we don't want to lose them. We don't want them to unsubscribe. But we can't only look at unsubscribes, we also have to look at engagement. Hi, I'm Daniel Burstein, Senior Director of Editorial Content at MarketingSherpa. We are here at the MarketingSherpa Media Center at MarketingSherpa Summit 2017. I'm joined now by Daniel Incandela, CMO of ReturnPath. Thanks for joining us, Daniel.
Thanks so much for having me.
So we surveyed 2,400 consumers in October 2016, and we wanted to get a sense of why do you disengage with email? And the top thing we heard, I'm sure you heard this a lot too, is frequency. They get too many emails in general, they get too many from a brand. So what can brands out there do to determine what is the right frequency for email?
Well, I can feel everyone's pain because I unsubscribe when I get too many emails too, and I get annoyed with a brand. So for me, it always starts at the very beginning. Are you sending an email to someone on your list that's going to add value to their life? Is the content compelling? Are you giving them something to act on? And are they going to enjoy that? And I think so often people overlook the value of content, storytelling, good messaging before they hit send. So that's one part of it. The other parts can be more technical or more based on best practices. Are you doing any A/B testing around subject lines or content within the body of the email? Are you thinking about when to send or the preference on how often they want to receive emails? And do you have a good inbox placement rate? And if you're not, it's going to start degrading your overall email marketing campaign strategy. So there's a lot to consider, but for me, I always think back to the content has to be really good. And there are a lot of brands out there that just are overlooking that and taking it for granted.
Yeah, so we talk about customer first marketing, and I think A/B testing is a great way to learn what customers want, but I like what you said in the beginning about you would unsubscribe too. So I'm curious, what does it take to get compelling content that you would click through, that you would not unsubscribe on?
Well, it's an interesting time for email marketers. And that is, in my opinion, the people on your list, they're really digitally savvy. So they're as smart as we are when it comes to digital. They will make decisions based on how you're marketing them. And if it is not personalized with their interests, their lives at the heart of what you're sending them, they're going to be disengaged and they will act on it. So you're going to lose people. If the email is terribly offensive or you've caught them in a bad day, they're going to complain. Or they're going to turn your competitors, and your competitors are going to beat you in the inbox.
Okay. So something else we found, perhaps some good news from the survey, is that when an email didn't look good on a smartphone device, that wasn't actually a big reason that people unsubscribed. As marketers, we kind of thought maybe it was, but it wasn't that big. Now, this might be good news that marketers are doing a better job on smartphones. It might just be, it's too much of a pain in the butt to unsubscribe and people just triaging when on the smartphone. So what has ReturnPath learned about how are brands doing on smartphones with their email?
Well, as a head of marketing and a brand guy, all of our emails have to look good across all devices because we take branding that seriously. So there is some importance to that. And I think you summarized it. I think part of it is it could be too difficult to unsubscribe on a mobile device. It could be that consumers are so focused on finding the value of the email that they're willing to overlook other issues, such as rendering issues or something that's not mobile optimized, things like that. But I was a little surprised too to hear that that's not a bigger deal, because all the time we hear about it. Is it optimized for mobile devices? How does it render across all of these things? How does it look in different browsers, things like that? But it's interesting research that you found.
Yeah. So also now we talked about unsubscribe is one thing, right?
Yeah.
So for a customer to say, hey, I don't want to hear from you anymore, goodbye. But another thing is, if they don't engage with you, right, then you end up we got clutter now, we got Gmail's priority inbox. So how do we make sure that the email doesn't end up in a junk folder and it actually gets into that inbox?
You have to take this engagement data very seriously. Are people opening the emails? Are they forwarding them? Are they interacting in any way? Are they clicking? Or are they deleting without opening? Or are they complaining? And a lot of that goes back, again, to do you know your customer? Are you providing them with a compelling message in the email? Are you thinking about the types of subject line material that they will respond to? But you have to start at the basics. And I think so many brands forget that you're sending communication. And to go a little further, I think a lot of brands aren't investing heavily enough in email. And it's one person that's trying to send out God knows how many emails in one day without any issues, without any errors, and they're just trying to hit send. And when that happens, content takes a back seat. And if you're not thinking about your customer and giving them value in their lives, why would they open it? They're going to do what we do. Delete without opening or unsubscribe.
So let me ask you an unfair question when it comes to this, because you mentioned several metrics, right? We talk about unsubscribes and all these other metrics. What's that core metric? Like you said, email marketers are overwhelmed. What's that core metric they should keep an eye on to make sure they're getting in the inbox?
Oh man, that's a good one. Because I think it can go all over the place. You know, a strong inbox placement rate could be a leading indicator that you're running a very good program. But I think it depends on the industry. If you're in retail, email is directly tied to revenue. So then it would be quarterly revenue targets. Open rates would be good for a nonprofit, right? That's looking to build a relationship with the community. So I think it's all over the place. We look at inbox placement, we look at how our list is growing, and then we also look at things like open rates and other engagement metrics.
All right, great. Well, thank you, Daniel.
Yep, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for watching. You can see more data and more marketing case studies at MarketingSherpa.com.